All right, and for a look at the latest developments now overseas in Ukraine, former FBI agent Michael Grimm. Michael, great to have you with us. Bring us up to date. I know things have certainly been happening.
Good afternoon, Katrina. You're right. There's actually a lot going on right now. The United States is still deciding, but it looks like they're leaning toward sending Ukraine. Look where Ukraine is in relation to all of Europe. They're thinking about sending them Patriot missiles. Now, this would be a major shift in American policy toward the Russian-Ukraine war. And it would possibly be a game changer because, as I've said, I was on the ground there for about a month. And no matter who you spoke to, whether it was the military, whether it was the police, or whether it was the individuals that actually had to live on the ground under this bombardment, they were getting crushed from the air. The superior air power and the missile power of Russia is overwhelming. So to bring in a system like Patriot missiles, you have to understand, these are the most sophisticated missile defense in the world. This is a game changer. So what is Vladimir Putin doing in response to this? Well, he's rattling his saber and he is mobilizing some of his nukes. So they are known to have YARS, Y-A-R-S. These are long-range missiles. They can go 7,500 miles, okay? They could hit the United States or UK, and they can have a nuclear warhead attached to them. Now, I don't want to sound the alarm bells that some people are sounding. I think it is extremely, extremely unlikely that Putin would even think about hitting any European countries, again, outside of Ukraine or the United States. I don't think that's even within the realm of reason, but he has the capability. Let's take a look here at the map. What you're seeing all along here, like, look at this, Zaporizhia. Russia in the last few weeks has been absolutely decimating the energy infrastructure of the Ukrainians. We know it's getting cold. We know they need heat. Well, heat, electricity, that's all being decimated. The Russians have been extremely successful in targeting these areas. It is the infrastructure that supplies their energy. So when you see this here in Zaporizhia, why is that important? Because that's a nuclear plant. That's a nuclear facility. So all of Europe is concerned that if Russia blows up, sends a missile to an area like Zaporizhia, what will the fallout be? How far can that nuclear fallout affect all of Europe? So we have a lot going on. United States considering Patriot Missile Systems. That would really help with the air defense, with the Russians raining down. In response to that, Vladimir Putin has been mobilizing, not using yet, but mobilizing YARS and long-range missiles that have nuclear capabilities. That's in Moscow, and that's the latest right now on the ground. Back to you.
Michael, I don't know if we can cover you up and bring you over here as we look at that map, as we look at some of the video out of there. But what does a Patriot missile do, and what makes it so much better than what they have now? And if I could add another level to it, this is more of an involvement by the United States directly. Right? Even though, I mean, and that's always been the concern, is, we don't want to make it look like we're going directly against the Russians.
Well, listen, it's certainly a paradigm shift. That much we can say because we have been providing them with arms for all these months now. We have directly been providing them with arms. So this is just a different level of a defense mechanism. So let's talk about Patriot missiles. First of all, a Patriot battery, a battery system that can fire several missiles. These are the most sophisticated, literally, in the world. This is not something that Ukraine would have ever had on their own. These are the types of missiles that will be sent to Germany, for example, and Ukrainian soldiers will have to attend meetings just how to operate these missiles. These are extremely sophisticated and they're very accurate. They're the best in the world. So when you're talking about shooting down a missile from Russia, yeah, Patriot missile can do that. They can shoot down, anything in the air. And you got to remember, Russia has been using these suicide drones from Iran. So that's another reason why they've been getting hammered so badly. And the Russians have effectively targeted their energy infrastructure.
Yeah, Michael, this sounds very different from what we were talking about a few days ago, simply that Putin was potentially open to having talks about ending the war. Now it sounds like he's ramping things up. It's a bit like whiplash with him.
Well, that's one of the problems with dealing with someone like Vladimir Putin. By definition, he's erratic. Okay, so we never know what's inside that scary mind of this dictator. And he can change on a whim. He can vacillate between two different ideas. And you know, he's also, let's remember, he's also an old KGB guy. So he's used to playing both sides. He's used to sending up balloons, you know, just to see how people respond, whether he may ever think about using nuclear weapons against Ukraine or not. He's still going to float that idea and see what the response is from NATO and the rest of the world and the United States.
All right.